To call this man versatile is an understatement. His new movie, Olympic Dreams, in theaters right now, is a sweet film that you will love to see. My kids love him as the voice of Gunter, and he is so versatile that he played the role of douche on TV and film. In Parks and Rec and Sausage Party. Good to see you, Nick Kroll.
Good to see you, man.
I'm not wrong, right? I mean,
no,
that's range.
I'm
that's
probably one of the few people who's played two different characters named the douche.
That's right. And you crush them both. I'll be honest.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So natural.
But let's start off by talking about this movie that premiered at the Sundance Film Festival a couple of winters ago and is now in theaters. You shot it entirely at the Pyeongchang Olympic Games, the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
In 2018. How in the world did you pull that off?
Well, Alexi Pappas and Jeremy Teicher, the filmmaker couple I made it with, Alexi's a summer Olympian, and they got a grant from the Olympic Committee to be like artists in residence, and they decided they were going to try to shoot something. So about 2 weeks before the Olympics, they came to me. I was writing Big Mouth, and they were like, do you want to go to the Olympics and try to shoot this movie? It's just the three of us. We can't, there's no crew. And it just seemed like an amazing, I've always been a big fan of the Olympics. The first Olympics I remember were in Seoul in 88. Mm-hmm. That was like Dan Jansen and Bonnie Blair and like Debbie Thomas, all those. And so the idea of going to Korea to see it in person was exciting, and it seemed like an interesting challenge. And because they were sponsored by the Olympic Committee, we had kind of access to stuff that nobody else has access to at the games. Usually when you watch the Olympics, you sort of see the gold medal matches or like their plight to get to the Olympics, but you don't actually see
the
Olympic Village, the dining hall, the med center, the gyms, like what goes on for those athletes while the games are going on. The Olympics are pretty controlling of what gets out there. And they allowed us to go inside of the Olympic Village, and the three of us shot a feature film inside of it.
And there are Olympic Dreams in theaters near you right now, and there are actual Olympians who are, not to say extras, but making cameos or playing, not playing themselves per se.
They are playing themselves for the most part. Yeah, they're all playing themselves. The only person who's sort of not, but sort of is Gus Kenworthy. Mm-hmm. He was the only athlete that we had contacted before the movie. If you remember, Gus is a slope style skier. He's medaled before. He's the first. He and Adam Rippon were the first openly gay athletes for the American team. Mm-hmm. Great actor, hilariously good actor, which is so annoying that an athlete can be that good. And all the other actors in the movie are all Olympians. So we would just grab people out of the athletes' village, in the dining hall, whatever, and be like, hey, you want to be in a movie? And because my character's a dentist, I would sort of interview people while I was giving them dental exams.
Right.
So it was like, the 16-year-old New Zealand kid, the youngest male competing in the Olympics, a girl who didn't qualify, but then someone got injured and got a call in the middle of the Olympics to fly to Korea to compete 2 days later.
No kidding.
Yeah. So you get to kind of see all of these, and it's the story of this girl, Penelope, about what it's like when you're an Olympic athlete. You've trained your whole life for this moment, and then it happens, and you're like, what do I do now?
So Penelope is a young cross-country skier played by a real-life Olympic runner.
Yes.
Named Alexi Pappas, whose husband is the director of the film. And then you're the third, if you will, person in as a volunteer dentist who kind of falls in love.
They have like a very sweet kind of love story. It's a little kind of lost in translation before sunrise, and they're really just two people at this crossroad in their lives of like, she's competed and now she doesn't know what to do. He's, in and out of a relationship, but it's these two people are kind of alone. That's the thing. You're at the Olympics and you're surrounded by all of these people in the athletes' village, but a lot of people are kind of bored and alone and they don't know what to do with their time. The condom tray was always empty in the bathroom at the Olympics.
That was my next question. That was my next question.
There's stuff going down. I was not a part of any of it, but there was.
Well, you were just a volunteer dentist.
I was just a volunteer dentist.
That's all you were.
But it was really. It's just a wild. It's like being at the Olympics. There's something exciting about being in the Olympics. We got to, because we were there with the Olympic Committee, we got to be right there, like on the sidelines or, on the right next to the rink. And you got access to seeing someone do skeleton, like that ice luge kind of head first. Seeing someone do that in person is wild. Watching someone sprint jump down on a little sled down an ice slide at 60, 70 miles an hour is crazy.
See, when I see that, I wonder, how does that get invented? That has to be invented out of sheer boredom by somebody one day, right? Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We got nothing to do today. Let's just go head first down some sort of slide down that.
You know how bobsled seems like there's some protection from catastrophic injury? What if we just took all of that away and set people down head first? So that's what they're doing.
That's what skeleton is.
It is crazy. I mean, you watch that stuff in person and you're like, these people are insane.
So what did you learn about that you might not already have known about the Olympics that you did use? I mean, again, it is so rare. It is. I know. Again, when you get notes for a film from a studio, whatever, first narrative film ever shot in a real Olympic athlete village. I mean, this doesn't get. The access doesn't happen, and you don't usually pull it off if you do.
Yeah,
so.
and I just was, I think it was really like being with these athletes, like, because it's the story of this girl is what am I going to do with the rest of my life? But then you hang out with the athletes, and they're really all going through that, because they're also like, think about it. You're like, I've competed. Am I going to come back in 4 years? Like, of course they're going to be competing throughout. Is this it? Can you imagine being 22 years old and being like, is this the end of my career that I've spent 15 years every day, all day training for? It's like, look, football players, basketball players, softball, whatever. It doesn't necessarily end it. They have a shorter run, but it's still pretty crazy to sort of conceive of, is this it? Is this over?
Nick Kroll here on the Rich Eisen Show, and this might come across as a disrespectful question to elicit a disrespectful answer, but it is not. Was there any event that you saw that you thought,
I could do that?
I could do that.
I mean,
I could medal in that.
I think what I don't know if you watch curling, but like I feel like people the country started to get into curling this past time.
Yeah, I mean the Americans did very well.
Yeah, and I was like, they all have real jobs. The curl, that's so interesting. They're not full-time athletes. They all have real jobs.
They're like NFL officials.
Yes, exactly.
In a way.
And
with all due respect,
to the NFL officials and
curlers
and to the Houston Astros. I feel like this is a good place to announce that I am partly responsible for the stealing.
How
the
so?
science.
What did you do?
I provided the Astros with trash can.
You did?
Yeah. I'm very connected to the Houston.
That was not covered in the commissioner's report, by the way.
I didn't read that at all.
Well, and I said with the trash cans, I was like, it's just a piece of metal, and so they didn't like that too much.
Wow. Wow. Because I think it was it rubber anyway? I mean, it could have been that too.
Are you going to get thrown at in spring training games now?
Jeez,
I know
this whole thing. Well, at least we found out how it all started.
Yeah, it's broken here on the Rich Eisen Show. Nick Kroll responsible for the Houston Astros sign stealing.
That's the headline. And go see Olympic Dreams in theaters right now. So the curling though, you got.
I could do curling. I went skiing this past weekend. I don't think I could do any skiing events.
Okay.
I'm not interested in hurting myself. Ice dancing. I think I would, if I found the right partner, I could be a great ice dancer. If you're interested, if you want to be the first same-sex ice dancing couple, I would do that with you, Rich.
Okay. Well, actually, I don't skate very well.
That's fine. I'll carry the heavy load. I played hockey for 1 year.
Okay. You played hockey for 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Skeleton, that was interesting. One of our athletes talked about it's called head, shoulders, knees, and toes. That's how they turn. It's head is like for turns, shoulders, and it's different levels of how big you have to make it turn. It's pretty crazy.
Do they sing the song, the children's song, as they skeleton?
I would
just
imagine.
To keep calm? Like,
yeah.
You're
going down an ice slide at 70 miles an hour. You're just going to be like, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself spot.
No,
I never heard that. It wasn't on the Yanni CD that I had with my kids.
I'll get you a copy. I'll get you the copy.
Thank you. Nick Kroll here on the Rich Eisen Show. Best comedian or actor out of the Uncle Drew gang that you saw was which was who?
Chris Webb was so funny as the preacher. He was great. Shaq is naturally hilarious. Nate Robinson is a rascal.
What do you mean by that?
He's just a rascal. Like wherever you you'd be in between takes and he would be off like playing music and dancing and like he's just a bit of a rascal.
Okay.
He also dunked on over Shaq. Not like dunked on Shaq, but like jumped over. There's a video of Nate Robinson jumping over Shaq.
Did you see that in person? Were you there?
I did. No, I missed that. I saw the video of it. Kyrie good actor.
Okay.
Reggie Miller, I get to be on the sidelines, coach, because when I was growing up, I was a Knicks fan. I was at a couple of those Knicks Pacers games, and to be able to talk trash against Reggie Miller as he was missing threes from the corner was truly one of the great events of my life. Lisa Leslie, still great. It was fun watching them all. Like Kyrie was like, he does that crazy spin stuff on the layups, and watching like Lisa Leslie trying to learn and understand Kyrie's spin stuff was really cool. Lil Rel, who I was kind of opposite in the movie. Great guy.
Who would win one-on-one between you and him?
I think if you watch him in the Celebrity All-Star game this past weekend, it'll be pretty clear who would have win one-on-one. Is what I'll say.
Just leave it at that.
I'll just leave it at that. I did watch that game and I was like, I'm so glad I'm not playing this game. It would be terrifying. You can't do well in that game.
Could you imagine if you play in that game and it is terrifying? I imagine it's like throwing out a first pitch, like doing anything physical. Anything physical with everybody watching.
Yes.
And then you have Stephen A. Smith berating you as your coach. Like, now that would be the ultimate. That would be the absolute ultimate.
I mean, those are some of my most erotic fantasies, or just that idea.
Nick Kroll here on the Rich Eisen Show. And if my kids knew you were on here right now, Gunter, I mean, how many kids do you meet that you're asked to do the voices of for them?
Good amount. And sometimes even when unprompted, I'll just be like, hello, how are you today? We're working on the next one. There's a second one coming.
Sing 2?
Yeah. Sing 2's coming.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's so fun. That movie Sing is, I mean, I'm sure you have like all the movies your kids watch, but what I do hear is like people are like, I can rewatch that one
They
a
do
lot.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We went through a big Sing riptide for a while. It was on constantly.
Yeah. It's a really sweet movie. It's a very sweet one.
Sort of on the opposite end of Sausage Party, in a way.
Yeah.
In a way. It was
very
so
different
funny.
films.
The first, you see stuff around town in billboards, right? And the kids will see it,
right?
And they see something like that, they assume it's for them.
Yeah.
And
It's not.
There's nothing quite a moment when you're driving around and somebody from a car seat says, "Dad, can we see Sausage Party?" And you're like, well, you see that R and then in the square down at the bottom right there?
Yeah.
Like, no.
You gotta not till you're 8.
Yeah.
Not till you're 8, and then it's fine.
That's parenting right there.
Yeah.
That's parenting right there.
That's good parenting.
For sure. Now, and do you no longer do fantasy football because the league's done, or? We
sort of stopped. We did it I did it on a show, like in the show, but we also had a league amongst the guys in the show, and I've sort of fallen off a little bit.
I can imagine. I mean, if you've done it for so long.
I did, and it was fun when we were doing it inside the show, but then it got stressful, and I don't know.
What did you mean stressful?
I don't know. It's just like, a lot of the stuff on the show was real, like that, what we would call the tinker stinker. It's like, I live on the West Coast, so that it's that 9:45, wake up, go to the bathroom. You got 15 minutes before first kickoff to make some last minute terrible decisions. That was big on that. Tinker stinker. Or like drunk trades late night, like make some major moves at like 1:30 in the morning in bed before you go to bed. You go like try to like pick up I also pardoned DeBartolo. I think I should mention that as well. I pardoned Eddie
By the way,
DeBartolo.
that's a new fantasy team name, is Pardoning DeBartolo.
Pardoning DeBartolo.
That's it. Yes, that's it. But I shouldn't sit here and say what's so stressful about it, because there are times where I lose in a fantasy game. Yeah. Okay. And it's a Monday night loss. It's a gutter. Like you're ahead and then you're behind and you lose.
Yeah.
And I have trouble getting to sleep. And I have to sit here and walk through the positives in my actual life.
Yes.
To say, what is the matter with you? Like, I've actually had to go through that mental exercise.
Sure. I think I got a little tired of that, and I just was like, and also like I hated losing. Like LeJoie, who played Taco on the show, never had an auto draft and then didn't do anything. and like literally never set a lineup and would still win. And I was like, this is insane. This is I
That's
don't
not right.
I know.
That's not right.
Well, also the amount of injuries now. It's like, how do you keep a team together? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I find it very. So I would get back into it. I don't know. Do you do basketball or any other sports?
No.
Just football. It's
Just
too much.
Football.
Too
Yeah,
much.
It is too much. And the best athlete from the league would be who?
Best athlete.
The actor that came on the show and did
Terrell
did a
Suggs was always funny.
Sizzle.
JJ Watt, like that was when you realize, like, and the same goes with Olympic Dreams. You realize, like, JJ Watt came in on a Monday. This was like season 2 or 3, or that he was a second or third year in the league. Came in on a Monday, did a scene or two, and was fine. Then it was like the week of the ESPYs. He like did probably like 2 commercials and a bit for the ESPYs, and came back on Friday.
Oh boy!
And was markedly better as an actor.
Huh?
And I think like the people who these folks who become professional athletes, like they learn so fast. The reason they're professional athletes is because there are a lot of athletically gifted people, but there are only so many people who can absorb information, process it, and then spit it back out effectively.
Right.
And it's like JJ Watt is going to learn to be an actor just like he learns, like, you know, the new offensive set for the team he's playing that week.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes, I think, with what I found in Uncle Drew, Webb, you know, like those guys just are learning so fast. And the same goes with the athletes that I worked with on Olympic Dreams. Those guys and women are just like learning so fast. They're used to being on camera. They're used to processing things and putting it back out. And it's, you know.
And then obviously, you know, living for the moment. You got maybe 1 or 2 takes. The Olympics is one take.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's not a second take for a lot of these athletes.
No, it's like you get one shot. You really do. And it's
Right.
like watching, and you realize how focused they have to be. I mean, their bodies are machines, but then it's the mental focus that goes into it. And you can see people who are, you know, kind of floating away a little bit, and the ones who are focused and you know, just trying to treat, and how they have to treat their bodies. Like, you know, that was dealing with Lexi, who's a long distance runner, and she was like, I need to nap myself. I need to eat this every day. It's like they have to be so regimented in how they treat their bodies.
just like us, right?
Just like us, yeah. I'm like, I need to nap because I've just had a sugar high, and now I need to eat chocolate when I wake up because I'm tired from my nap.
Well, look, it's not just anybody who can just provide trash cans willy-nilly to teams that need them.
No.
You know,
If you're in the Houston area and I have some access trash cans available for sale now, if anybody's interested.
At Nick Kroll.
At Nick Kroll.
Twitter and
Instagram. Hit me up, DM me. I'm around. I got smartphones that are not being used anymore. I got everything
Apple
you need.
Watches for the Red Sox.
Apple-
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Anything you need.
Olympic Dreams in theaters now. At Nick Kroll on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks for
Good to
having
see
me.
you. That's Nick Kroll right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.